Hello, welcome. This is Blockchain Bloom, the blockchain educator. I'm Atala Pink, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about that actually now is 1st of September. So does it mean that REKTEMBER has started? Let's look at the prices a little bit historically, and also what is going to happen this week, what kind of data we're waiting for, and of course, how it looks like with the rate cuts, obviously. Then interesting news that it looks like that according to US Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, Trump was overreached of his authority with these tariffs, and now they started to attack Trump that he didn't have the right to do it. So interesting twist. And then let's talk about Ethereum a little bit. Let's look at the Ethereum addresses and who owns the most Ethereum, how this is now changing. I think it's important because there are whales, they're selling their Bitcoin, buying Ethereum. There's lots of Ethereum inflows. So Ethereum started to pick up and really kind of doubled its price during the summer. So I think it's worth to look at. And also let's look at CZ's future prediction that when he says, we have the dip, after that we usually go up. Let's check out that chart as well. So guys, that's all this in today's video. We're just starting. And don't forget, every single day I bring you the freshest cryptocurrency and blockchain news here on Blockchain Bloom to keep you up to date. So if that's important, simply subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the like button if you like this kind of content. And now let's do it. Okay, so when we're looking at the prices, we can see that Bitcoin is 1% up in the last 24 hours. So $109,249. Still doing the sideways movements. Ethereum, just 1% down. $4,396. The top gainers in the last 24 hours. Meme Core, 25% up. It's the major one now. Pump Fund, 3% up. 5.2%. No major to the upside. Also, we have now World Liberty Financial down 17%, PIT Network, which recently went up 9% down, normal correction, and Conflux also 8% down. So, no major move to the upside, no major move to the downside. When we're looking at here the Bitcoin candlestick chart, we can see clearly here on the weekly that yes, we have closed that week at 108,000-ish, but today we started to go again a little bit higher. When we're looking at the monthly chart, because it just closed the month, August, then we can see that, sorry, we had, a kind of bearish month for August for Bitcoin price. July was pretty good, went up, it didn't, close on the top, but, we had this huge week at the top, and that continued the downward trend after that in August. And now let's see how this September will perform. When we're looking at Bitcoin dominance, it's still, going down. We still have it at 58%. So yeah, this is the biggest downfall in dominance since we really started for Bitcoin price going up and Bitcoin dominance grow at the beginning of 2023. Since that, we haven't seen any drop in the dominance like this one now. So that could look promising for altcoins, maybe in the Q4. But one thing today, stock market on Monday is closed for Labor Day. So don't look at the stock market. No big changes there. And now let's talk about the possibilities for REKTEMBER. Well, so the thing is that when we're looking at the monthly performance of Bitcoin, we can see that September one, here it goes, it's one of the most bearish ones. That means, since 2013, we had 6-8 bearish Septembers and just, 4 until now, which was closed in green, not with a huge percentage. Yes, we now in green because we just started today. On the other hand, we had a bearish August when it comes to price performance. On the other hand, October, the month just after, which is coming after September, is the most bullish months for Bitcoin, and just 2 times it was, and not significantly, down in 2018, and it was back in 2013. No, sorry, 14. And apart from this, Bitcoin price went up. Also, November looked pretty promising for Bitcoin in many, many years. So actually, October, November could be a good one. But it doesn't mean that September it will be a bad one. We just had the 1st of September, first of all. Many people are starting to sell now because they're afraid that September will be a bad one. However, if you just think about it, we never ever had, for example, such an institutional focus on Ethereum. Okay, it's not Bitcoin, but when we're looking at Ethereum and we're looking at... no, this is Bitcoin. Just one sec. Here's Ethereum. Look, Q3, basically, where we are right now, even with September, so far is the most successful Q3 for Ethereum ever, with 76.9% going up. So that can pretty much continue. So as you can see, we are really different from other years. Yes, we had years when we actually went up. Yeah, no, we went down when it comes to Ethereum prices. But this Q3 is the most successful ever so far. So that could be interesting. It hasn't finished. It will finish with end of September, as Q4, October, November, December coming after that. Let's see. But yeah, I think it's worth to think about it. I will be careful. Good to have some gunpowder on at the side to jump in if you feel like it's you can find a good position. But if you in with something not financial wise, that actually can go up when prices start to go up. And basically the market is waiting right now. Whoops, this is not what I wanted to do. A lot of things. For example, we're waiting for the jobless claims, which coming out here on weekly basis. And, what will happen on the 4th of September. So basically a couple of days, then the 11th. Then we waiting for the CPI on the 11th of September. How was the inflation back in August, CPI after the PPI? And all this will have an impact on this percentage, which is right now around 90%, that the majority, 90% is saying there will be a rate cut on the 17th of September after the FOMC meeting. So when this number is so high, and let's wait for the data, which will come out in the next week or two before the meeting, and it's still pushing in this direction, then it's almost certain then that we have a rate cut. But this can change, and it depends a lot on the data, which we hasn't seen yet. So the market is still waiting. Worried a little bit about September. Could be a REKTEMBER. What will happen, because historically it's not really good for Bitcoin. Also, still waiting. What will the Fed do? Rate cuts, how the economy looks like, all these kind of things. And yeah, we are in the waiting position. Meanwhile, the tariffs had a huge impact on the market recently. And now the court came out that actually Trump probably didn't have the right to do all these things. Okay, so as you can see here in this article, it talks about that on Friday, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit ruled that Trump's imposition of reciprocal tariffs on countries, as well as those on China, Canada, Mexico, all this kind of thing. Bottom line is that was an overreach of his authority. And now, okay, this will go on higher levels and so on and so forth. But how the market would react, question mark, if it turns out, because the market reacted on tariffs, in a bad way, because it's shaking the market. So maybe it will be a good reaction when it turns out that it actually he doesn't have the right to do all these things. But yeah. Interesting thing, it just popped up on Friday. We see how this will play out. And okay, and now let's talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum is getting more and more important for institutions. And let's look at the addresses. Who holds the most Ethereum? Okay, ETH. So, first of all, around 70% of all ETH is held by just 10 addresses. It's very important to point out when it comes to centralization, decentralization, but the most belong to staking contracts, exchanges, or funds, not individual whales. And, we're talking about 83.9 million ETH, which is roughly 70% of the total circulating supply, which is around 121 million. Who was the most ETH? We have Beacon Deposit Contract, as you can see it here, holds approximately 65.8 million ETH, representing the 54% of the total circulating supply. When we look further, then let's look at, Exchange It, and Custodian ranks among the largest ETH holders. So Coinbase has about 4% of the supply, Binance 3.5, Bitfinex 2.7, Base Network Bridge 1.4, Robinhood 1.3, and Upbit 1.1%. And, BlackRock's iShare Ethereum Trust, their Ethereum spot ETF, it's catching up pretty much because they hold over 3 million ETH already, 2.5% of the total supply. So they are coming up on this list. And by the way, when we're looking at, we have whales, this guy keeps selling their Bitcoin and changing it to Ethereum. Now, recently, 2,000 Bitcoin was sold, and bought 48,942 ETH with it. And he have done it before it as well. When we're looking at the inflows, outflows, when it comes to Ethereum spot ETFs, you can see on the 29th we had the outflows, but before that, long inflows. So yeah, let's see how that kind of thing continues. And one more thing, CZ's prediction. As you can see it here, every single time it marked the bottom and CZ posted that, I hope you bought the dip, right? Here, and then we went up. Then remember, by definition, everything before the next all-time high is a dip. It was very good, then it went up. Now he's saying, thanks to the void in crypto, selling the dip, saying it here. So, will he be right? What do you think? You can let me know in the comment section. And guys, don't forget, every single day I'm bringing you the freshest cryptocurrency and blockchain news here on Blockchain Bloom to keep you up to date. So if that's important, simply subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the like button if you like this kind of content. And of course, see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.